محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون فعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما صدق الله العظيم.
Many people in many parts of the world will be celebrating Christmas. Christmas is a Christian festival. Christians believe that this is, well, so people are told that supposedly Jesus, or Isa alayhi salam as we know him, was born on the 25th of December. And so because for Christians, Isa alayhi salam isn't just a man. For Christians, he is God. They often refer to him as the Son of God. And deep down, they consider him God incarnate, which means God in the appearance of a human being. So, and when you go to many churches, or you walk past or drive past, you will say, you will see Christians, they worship Jesus because they regard him as God or a part of God. We as Muslims, we regard Isa alayhi salatu wassalam as one of the mighty messengers of Allah. Although Allah sent many prophets before Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, many of the famous ones are mentioned in Qur'an, but there are many Allah did not even tell Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam about. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِّن قَبْلِكَ مِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَصَصْنَا عَلَيْكَ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ لَمْ نَقْصُصْ عَلَيْكَ. Verily we sent messengers before you, some we told you about, some we did not tell you about. But there was one night, a very special night, in which Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam met all the prophets. And not only did he meet them, he led them in salah. And so from all the prophets, there are 5 which are considered mighty messengers of Allah. All our prophets, for us, they are all honorable, respectable. And we as Muslims are required to believe in all the prophets of Allah and respect them and show no disrespect towards any prophet of Allah. But from amongst them, 5 especially in Qur'an referred to as the mighty messengers. And they have been mentioned in many places in Qur'an together. And they are Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, and Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they are the 5 mighty messengers of Allah. And although Qur'an does not mention the birthday of any prophet, not even Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we believe Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam isn't just our prophet, he's a prophet even for the prophets. In fact, in light of the verse of the Qur'an, which is known as the verse of the mithaq of the prophets, it shows that even previous prophets were given nubuwwat and risalat on the condition they will also believe in and assist Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَإِذَا أَخَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ النَّبِيِّينَ لَمَا آتَيْتُكُم مِّن كِتَابٍ وَحِكْمَةٍ ثُمَّ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَكُمْ لَتُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهِ وَلَتَنصُرُنَّهُ. Allah gave the prophets this proposal that when I give you the book and wisdom and then comes unto you the Rasul, then you will have to believe in him and assist him. Do you agree? أَأَقْرَرْتُمْ وَأَخَذْتُمْ عَلَى ذَلِكَ إِسْرِي قَالُوا وَأَقْرَرْنَا. Do you agree? Yes, we agree. So as though this was the main condition, as though with Allah's contract with the prophets, and that they have to believe in and accept Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and assist him. A bit like nowadays when people get a job, but before you can start a job, you have to sign a contract to abide by the rules and regulations. So this was the main condition Allah put in front of all the prophets in the world of the souls. I'm going to make you prophets, I'm going to give you book and wisdom, but then when the mighty Rasul comes unto you, then لَتُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهِ وَلَتَنْصُرُنَّ. You will have to believe in him and assist him. Do you agree? And they all agree. A bit like when you say you agree, then sign on the dotted line. So they said, قَالُوا وَقْرَرْنَا. We believe, we acknowledge. So, but Allah hasn't even mentioned Rasulullah's date of birth in Qur'an. So Allah wasn't going to mention anybody else's birthday either. But it appears from Qur'an that Isa alayhi salam wasn't born in December. Because when the time came for Maryam, who was Isa alayhi salam's mother, and she was a very noble and a very extraordinary and a unique and special woman. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that in the previous nation there were many a great men, but no woman greater than 2. And both of these women are mentioned in Quran together in Surah Tahrim at the end of the 28th verse. One was the wife of Fir'aun, her name is reported to be Asiya, and the second was Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam. So one of the very unique and extraordinary women, one of the very special women. And when time came for her to give birth, then she was resting under a palm tree. And then Allah commanded her, having given birth, and Maryam alayhi salam, at the time, she was a very young girl. Even Christians believe that at the time of the birth of Jesus, Mary was probably 12, 13 years old. And so those who are married, they will know, and especially if you have children and you've been through the process, and mashallah, having witnessed the birth of your children, you will know that it's a very difficult period. For a woman to give birth to a child is a very difficult period. And many women historically used to pass away during birth, during labor. And in Islam, if a woman passes away and dies while giving birth, and then she died the death of a shaheed. This is how difficult it is for me. And back in the days, you can imagine, there were no maternity hospitals, no maternity wards, and there was no nurse or a woman to help Maryam alayhi salam. She was on her own, resting under a palm tree, and she gave birth. And having given birth, for any woman it's a very difficult time, but it leads to a lot of weakness. And so in that state, and she's a young girl, and especially for young girls to give birth is even more difficult. And then you can imagine what her physical condition must have been like. A young girl, barely 12, 13, 14 years old, she's just given birth. She's resting under a palm tree, and she was commanded, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلِ. Shake this palm tree. You know what a palm tree is? Khujur ka darakh. I know many brothers, Bengali brothers, mashallah, I don't know if you've been to Bangladesh, I don't know if many of the young ones have been or not, but the elders probably have been. And I think you have some palm trees, date trees in Bangladesh. The fruit is right at the top. And in many fruit trees, when you shake them, then the fruit comes. But dates, no, it's so difficult to shake a palm tree. Even if you go to the gym every day, 28-inch biceps. And mashallah, you were asked to shake a palm tree, it would be almost, it'd be very difficult at least, if not impossible. Let alone a young girl, 12, 13 years old, who just given birth. So you can imagine what would have Maryam done, just put her hands there. But Allah says, you do your best, I will do the rest. So this dunya is darul asbab. You have to do everything in light of means. You have to do your best in everything, not just make dua. Not like a young man who went to Huzur, and he said, Huzur, make dua like give me a son. Okay? A few days later he went again, Huzur, make dua like give me a son. Like give you a son. Sometime later again he went again, Huzur, make dua like give me a son. He said, I will make dua, but are you doing anything as well? Have you got married? He goes, well, if I was married, I would not come to you. This dunya is darul asbab. You have to do everything what's required. You do your best, Allah will do the rest. And so Maryam alayhi salam, you can imagine what could she have done except maybe place her hand there and Allahu Akbar. But Allah said, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. You shake and then ripe dates will fall upon you. Now in Palestine, lots happening in Palestine now, Allahu Akbar. May Allah have mercy on the people of Palestine. May Allah grant them peace and security. They are going through a very, very difficult time. Allahu Akbar. And unfortunately and sadly, most Muslims, at least those who can do something, are not doing anything for them. Although many people, not just Muslims, many even non-Muslims feel their pain, but nobody can do anything. This is a unique scenario, what's happening in Palestine now. Unlike anything in history, people know exactly what's happening live, but yet they can't do anything. Allah. And those who can have decided not to do anything. Allah. And people who can pull the strings, they are just making a fool out of them and out of everybody else. Allahu Akbar. And so people, out of frustration, many are marching onto the streets of capital cities in the world, demanding ceasefire, sympathizing with the people of Palestine. And although many Muslims might be asleep, and people who have authority to do something, all they are worried about is buying football clubs. All they are worried about is buying football clubs, Allahu Akbar. And instead of spreading Islam and giving the true message of Islam to people across the world, the people in Gaza under bombs. And just to give you an idea, what sort of bombs have dropped on them. More bombs have dropped on these Palestinians in Gaza than the destructive power of the atom bomb dropped on Hiroshima. More than 20,000 bombs And many, when the United States was bombing ISIL, Islamic State, Daesh, in Raqqa, which was the capital of the supposed Islamic State, they dropped only one bomb, which weighed 2,000 pounds. Netanyahu and company have dropped hundreds of such bombs. And they've dropped more bombs in the first month of the present genocide than America dropped in a whole year in Afghanistan. More people have died in 1 month, well now 2 months, than have died in 2 years of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Allahu Akbar. But can anybody do anything? No. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. But anyway, Maryam alayhi salam resting under, and in Palestine in the winter, it's so cold and that there's no dates in December on any tree in Palestine. In Palestine, dates ripen August, September. And so if there were ripe dates on the trees, as Allah hints in Qur'an, Surah Maryam, then the birth of Isa alayhi salam could not have been in December. It was probably sometime late summer, early autumn. And so this is what the Qur'an hints. The Bible hints something similar. This is why many Christians, although most Christians celebrate Christmas, but now Christmas isn't just a religious festival. Christmas has become more of a commercial enterprise. Because now many Muslims supposedly also celebrate Christmas. And some of the most extravagant Christmas celebrations have not been in Rome, Paris, London, New York, in the Western capitals in the capitals of the Western countries, but mashallah in Dubai. In recent years, Christmas trees worth over $10 million have been put up, and previous years with real gold. But in the whole Muslim world has declared them as a non-Muslim minority. So no Muslim should go and pray there. Your prayer will not be valid with Qadiani. You should not go to such places. In the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Munafiqs built a masjid. It's mentioned in the Qur'an. It's called Masjid al-Darrar. When they built that masjid, because they were hypocrites, they used to sit there and plot against Muslims. But they wanted to be recognized and considered a valid masjid. So they wanted Rasulullah to come and endorse this masjid. And Rasulullah was going to Tabuk. So then Rasulullah said, I'm busy now, when I come back then we'll see. So when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back, and the people, they requested Rasulullah to come over, Allah forbade Rasulullah, La taqum fihi abada. Not just don't pray there. Allah said to Rasulullah, don't even go there. لَمَسْجِدٌ أُسِّسَ عَلَى التَّقْوَى مِنْ أَوَّلِ يَوْمٍ أَحَقُّ أَن تَقُومَ فِيهِ. A masjid which is established on piety and goodness from the first day, that masjid deserves more than you pray there. And these people were hypocrites, and they mean nothing but trouble, and they want to cause division and hatred between Muslims, so don't even go there. So these Qadiani temples, etc., you should not even go there, let alone pray there. Alhamdulillah, blessed you with the masjid here. What's wrong with praying here? So don't be impressed by a nice looking building. That's not a valid masjid in the eyes of Islam and Muslims. But their founder, his name was Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. He said, I'm the Messiah. He said, Muslims have been waiting for the Messiah for 1300 years. He hasn't turned up. He ain't coming. I'm your man. And people said, well, Rasulullah said he'll be the son of Maryam, and your mother's name is Chiragh Bibi. Isa alayhi salam's mother's name is? And Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani's mother's name is? Chiragh Bibi. Now if Allah hadn't mentioned Maryam, then Mirza would say, no, I'm okay. I'm okay even being the son of Chiragh Bibi, but sorry, the Messiah is son of Maryam alayhi salam. So his mother's name is mentioned in Qur'an. Everybody has a mother, but his mother, special woman. So the Messiah, when he comes, he will be son of Maryam alayhi salam. Anybody else will be son of, that is where you will complete your life and die there to rise from there. So if Isa alayhi salam has gone up, then in order to complete his life, he has to, because there is no cemetery in the heavens. You know, many years ago, because 30, 40 years ago, the Muslim community in South was mainly Pakistani. Then in the 1990s, many Somalis started coming here. Then Afghans started coming here. And until about 2000, there was some Bengali brothers, but not many. And there was some in Ashbridge, hospitals were bombed. Oh, it's horrific. It's not Keir Starmer, the Labour leader. When he was asked about what was happening in Ukraine, he said these are war crimes being committed by Putin. He should be arrested and taken to The Hague. But when he was asked what's happening in Palestine, with hospitals being bombed, is that war crime? He said, well, that's not up to me, it's up to the lawyers. It's on YouTube. He was confronted. So when white-skinned people with blue eyes dies, it's war crime, it's genocide. He needs to be taken to The Hague. But if Muslims are bombed, that's up to the lawyers. It's not my business to comment. Allahu Akbar. And now when Palestinian Christians died, even a name Allah reserved for the most noble man in the whole of the universe, and his name is Muhammad, and we call him Mo. At least no Muslim should call him Mo. What others do is up to them. But at least as Muslims we ought to honor the name of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His parents, when they kept that name for him, why did they keep that name? They kept it because it is the name of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So to show respect to the name of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and to call it Mo, astaghfirullah. At least in my opinion, that's absolutely unacceptable. Anybody's name is Muhammad, astaghfirullah, many even our youngsters, Muhammad. No, we should learn to pronounce it properly and be proud of the name of Muhammad. Because you are named after Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even Muhammad Salah has been celebrating Christmas.